We're talking one-on-one with the latest candidate to enter the race to be Indiana's next governor. It's former Attorney General Curtis Hill, who made news this week with a proposal of his own to eliminate Indiana's Office of Equity and Inclusion. I asked him about that and about the groping allegations that led Republicans to nominate a new Attorney General instead of Hill. So obviously Republican delegates made the decision to replace you in 2020 after the groping allegations that you faced then. What gives you reason to believe you can win or should win their nomination for governor now?
Well, I think that over the past 3 years, I've had contact with lots of Hoosiers, and there's been a lot of communication with me about that topic. It was very straightforward that I was a target, if you will. I had more votes than anyone in the state's history. I stood up to the status quo. So there wasn't much of a surprise, but I got a reassurance from Hoosiers all over the state for the past 3 years that they wanted me back into a leadership position. You know, Hoosiers are hungry for proven conservatives that get the job done, and I had a record of accomplishing things that needed to be done on behalf of Hoosiers, and that's really what people are after. They're after leadership that gets things done.
But the Supreme Court, though, did find clear evidence in their view that you did commit acts of misdemeanor battery conduct. They said violated the professional conduct rules, which led to you being suspended for 30 days. And Governor Holcomb was asked about this last week and asked about your candidacy. Here's what he said.
What do you think about him running for your job?
Well, at the time I said that if someone in my office were those accusations or what was alleged were to be true, would have to step down. And so I remain consistent with that, and that would apply to anyone.
What's your response to that?
Well, if you recall, there was a special prosecutor investigation that cleared me of any type of sexual battery. There were by my count 7 investigations and or lawsuits that have been dropped or dismissed. This was a targeted matter. It's one in which we've gone through the ringer. And even such, we didn't lose support. In that convention, we were up by a large margin, and it was a virtual convention that was put in place as a result of the pandemic. So there were lots of factors involved. The long and short of it is, I still remain a conservative member of the community that has great ideas to advance the cause of Hoosiers going forward.
I also want to ask you about your announcement this week that you would eliminate Indiana's Office of Equity, Inclusion, and Opportunity that Governor Holcomb created in 2020. Some in the NAACP said this was nothing more than pandering to your far-right base, in their words. How do you respond to those who might believe you're just trying to win over primary voters on culture war issues here?
No, not at all. From the standpoint of social justice, I don't believe that there's any gains made by preferring one group over another. And as far as pandering goes, that's exactly what these check-the-box programs do. Engaging in diversity as a front runner for choosing personnel, that's utterly ridiculous. I believe in diversity. I believe in inclusion, and I believe in equitable results, but not at the cost of excellence, competence, and fairness. And that's what we're having. We're putting a society together that's based on identity politics versus merit and excellence, and we can't have that. And what I did when I announced that I would dismantle that particular office was pointed out that we could do better. We can do better by providing direct engagement through community forums where we talk about tough issues. We did this as Attorney General. Towards the end of my tenure, we had a couple of symposiums on race and justice and one on race and mental illness. And we invited experts from around the country. We had community involvement and engagement. And we had some very serious discussions on race and justice, race and mental health. We can do that similar thing across the state and actually get to the nub of the issue and create a more harmonious community.